As of now, at the Ryder Cup up in Farmington, New York, the American team is down by 5 points. Don't know what's happening in the matches at the moment. Don't pull your phones out. We'll have to wait until after Mass to find out if they can make up any of this. It's difficult and it's seemingly impossible. The odds makers have their odds of coming back at less than 5% now. It's difficult to come back from being so far behind. The Orioles felt that sting this year. Hopefully the Ravens aren't quite in that much trouble yet. The parable of the rich man and Lazarus is really a tale of falling behind, so far that there is no possible way out. The rich man learned too late, and even then, as the parable unfolds, he wasn't really learning. He was still expecting someone else to take care of everything for him. Send Lazarus, let him serve me here so that I can be better. This tale isn't just about bad things happening to good people or what happens to bad people. We know too often that otherwise physically healthy people get sick, experience depression. Families do everything right and may not experience happiness. Not all people who reach old age are glad that they have. Material success and satisfaction don't necessarily go together. On the other hand, this mythical relationship between poverty and virtue isn't really true either. In the parable today, we see no mention that Lazarus was somehow morally superior to the rich man who barely noticed him. What bothers the prophet Amos in the first reading today, now Amos is easily bothered and is easily critical of just about everything around him, and what condemns the rich man, whom we call dives, which is simply the Latin word for rich guy, is the same fault. It's not that people are prosperous. That's not the problem. Prosperity leads to indifference. Jesus does not imply that the rich man does badly in eternity just because he had it good on earth. What really enrages the prophets and condemns the rich man is simply that they didn't care. They didn't look around. They didn't notice or perceive or appreciate how they arrived where they were. The poor suffered and the comfortable looked the other way. Now, there are times we can say, I've got mine, and that is hard enough. And we say, I've got that, so everything's okay. We can extend that to, my family has ours, or our nation has ours. But it all comes down to this same dangerous predicament. That chasm between Lazarus and the rich man dug it with his own two hands. He never noticed what was going on around him, but could only see to his own comfort. He failed to see that he and Lazarus had something in common as brothers in the human family, both of whom sought the blessings of God. We are connected. We are related. We are meant for community. You know, they say if you put people in a room together, you trace back far enough, we all end up being somehow related. All of that genealogy and 23andMe and all that kind of stuff, you trace our family trees back far enough, most of us can find some connections somewhere. We are meant for community. And as long as we recognize that, we will continue not to look inside only at ourselves and our own needs, but we'll look around us. And when we do that, we will never fall so far behind in pursuit of heaven that we cannot still follow Jesus. And at the end of the day, the real gift of the promise of heaven, making it through that chasm, is really the grace of God, not our own doing or our own works, but how we live demonstrates our openness to what God is doing. Today, here at St. Joseph, is Stewardship Commitment Weekend, and I want to begin this conversation by saying thank you. We recently shared our annual report in the bulletin, which contained great news about our current financial position and the great year we had in fiscal year 2025, which ended on June 30th. I am grateful for your dedication and your generosity, which has made so much work and effort and ministry here at St. Joseph possible. Your weekly giving, your contributions support everything we do here, from the celebration of the Mass to religious education and youth ministry, to outreach for the poor, pastoral care for the sick, the upkeep of our facilities, and our planning for the future. Every ministry, every act of service is supported by the offertory gifts of our parishioners. When you give with intention and purpose, you are helping to build a stronger, more faithful, more vibrant community here. You are answering this call to service. Registered parishioners received a letter from me a couple of weeks ago asking you to prayerfully consider your financial support of our parish. The theme of this year's appeal is Called to Serve, Sharing Our Blessings, Strengthening Our Church. That theme isn't just words, but I hope you hear it as an invitation. Today, together, we respond to that invitation by making our commitment. This year here at St. Joseph, we have exciting things happening. New efforts in children's formation and youth ministry with our new staff members, Doug and Ellen Payne. Continuing growth in our outreach efforts, both locally and internationally this year. Look for information soon about collaboration for an international mission trip next year. Tending to our campus with new beautification efforts and the presence of security on campus, and much, much more. But for all of this to happen, each of us has to do our part, because we are meant for community, and we only exist as a community to support one another in our faith and to care for those around us. So at the ends of the pews, you'll find our commitment cards. So I ask you to pass those across for each household so that you can make your promise to do your part. The cards are easy, and there are 4 important things that we ask you to consider. First is your weekly offertory commitment. This is where you indicate your weekly gift. Even a small increase of what you've been doing makes a real difference when we all participate. We know that expenses grow, prices rise, the demands of ministry increase. Our community is growing, so are the demands and the needs in ministry. I encourage you to think in terms of a percentage of your income and what you feel called to give regularly to support the life of the parish. Secondly, the second line asks you to consider your legacy of faith. Here you can indicate if you're committed to creating or updating your will and remembering our parish community. This year we've partnered with a group called My Catholic Will, a free online tool that helps you create a legal will in under 20 minutes. Including a gift to the parish in your will is a powerful way to leave a legacy for future generations. The third line asks you to consider consistent giving online. This lets you commit to starting or updating your recurring online gift through our portal that's confusingly called online giving. They're making a mint on their patent there, I guess. It's simple, reliable, and helps the parish budget more effectively throughout the year. If you need assistance with that, Leslie Masterman, our Director of Development, will be in the vestibule at the kiosk after Mass. And lastly, we ask you to provide contact information on the bottom part of the card and update information with a good phone number and email address. This helps us stay connected with you and ensures you receive important parish updates. If you have prayer intentions, we invite you to share those as well. Father Lennon and Seminarian Andrew and I will place those on the altar in the Rectory Chapel, and we'll be lifting them up in our daily prayers. Take a moment now to complete filling out your card. The ushers will collect them in the regular offertory collection in a few moments. Whether you're increasing your gift, setting up online giving, creating a will, or simply reaffirming your commitment, I thank you for what you do to enable this parish to thrive, and to continue to grow. Here's why this matters. When you fill out your card, you're not just helping us financially, you're helping us plan ahead. You're helping us to say yes to ministry opportunities. You're helping us grow. When everyone participates, even in small ways, it brings greater stability to our budget, clarity to our planning, and unity to our mission. Your commitment strengthens our whole community. This is what we are called to do and to be as we are meant for community.